Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
Good morning, everyone. It's amazing that we all got here by 9 o'clock since there's no parking lot. Imagine my surprise. I came flying in and nothing. Well, flying as in driving fast. So. And then parking lot was on the C and D side, and they said, oh, no, you got to go to the B side. Well, can I cut through? No, you got to go all the way around. So anybody else had that problem? Sorry. Today's topic is how to penetrate further into the government for those of you who are government resellers. Is anybody selling to the government now or trying to sell to the government now? How's it working out for you?
It's slow and confusing.
Say it again. Well, we're going to have fun today. Today's agenda, I'll tell you a little bit about who we are, me, what's in it for you, and the beauty of it is for the first time in many, many years, well, since last year, I haven't had to do a commercialized presentation. We do webinars every 2 weeks. You can think about and go on our website and you can register for two that are coming up. One of them is bid, no bid, and the other one is capability statement. We just did one 2 weeks ago on what a capability statement is, and the next one is how to prepare a capabilities briefing. Very important for anybody wanting to enter into the federal government arena. Not that hard. And actually have a live testimonial sitting in this room today. I'll tell you about that in a minute. We're going to talk about VoIP in government. I'm going to give you a real life example. Those of you who is, now this is, we're all in the VoIP world here. Who is not using VoIP internally right now? Good, no hands. It took me a while to do it, and you're going to love the real life example. Talk about open market contracting and GSA contracting. Who we are. I've been doing this longer than one person in this room has been alive. I told her I was going to say that. She's laughing, blushing over to your right, in front, whatever. That's a long time. 1986. Most of the programs that GSA uses now, we helped develop because there weren't many of us in the consulting world doing this in '86. I'm actually the oldest, literally. And we have what we all heard of, GSA Advantage. We've heard of the e-offer system where we submit our applications. We'll get back into that later on. I've been selling for well over 40 years, and I kind of miss it in a way. So I'll be in North Carolina next week with a client. And anybody recognize anybody on this sheet? It all started August 12, 1986. The little guy second down on the left. He flew me to Austin, and the rest is, as they say, history. Anybody know these guys?
Yes.
Leave it to David. Last year, I don't know if it was his very room or it was in the Astricon last year, I met the founder and president of Veneto. He had one distinct problem he needed solved. He needed government revenue. He attended the meeting, which I guarantee what you're seeing today is 110 times better than what he saw last year, because it was last minute. I got in and I just threw up some slides and we talked. You know, I did the FedEx thing. Anybody use a Bluetooth? Is that an in-focus projector? Oh, interesting. Or is that a Proxima? I think InFocus bought Proxima. But anyway, that's a list of some of them. It's gone on and on and on. For 29 years, it's kind of tough to get them all on one slide. We all know Chuck Norris and Christy Brinkley, second down on the right. Anybody that flies Southwest usually flies on an Airbus. I can go on and on and on all day long. These are all people that most people said would never make it in the dot-bomb era, like Yahoo. Well, look at them today. What's in this for you? Why are you here? You want to understand how and why the government is making a huge shift towards VoIP. We're all involved in VoIP somehow, some way, somewhere. Whether we're selling a switch box, whether we're selling a schmooze distro, whether it's a vanilla Astricon distro, an Elastics box, whatever. I've been on all of them, except the switch box. How do we get that into the government? Let me show you how. Here's a real life example. Hopefully you can see it because it's got a lot of information on there. Let's take the platform. The old good old Ma Bell at $50 a line a month. How many couldn't wait to get off of those? And then if you were really cool, you had ISDN. And then if you bought into the AT&T garbage, you had DSL, which they disguised as, what was it called? Whatever. Then Vonage came on the scene at $25 a month. 2 lines per box. If you got 3 or 4 boxes, how do they talk to each other? You don't have your ability to intercom back and forth. Then you go to hosted. Anybody do hosting, VoIP hosting? Good, so I'm not going to offend anybody. This example was 8 by 8. The last one is CPE, customer premise equipment, for those of you from the old telecom days. There's the numbers, number of lines. As you can see, they grew. That's actually an incorrect number. It's unlimited, based on your trunking. There's your total cost. Went from $550 to $48. That good savings? $500 a month? That real life example is me. This is what I went through to get to here. We're doing our own Astricon box. It's set up, they say don't do it. We did it as a virtual machine with failover and everything else. So the government's interested in this kind of savings, and you're going to see why in a moment. VoIP in government, 3 or 4 slides. By the way, they will be available. Does everybody have a QR reader on your phone? You'll be able to scan a slide at the end, and you'll have the slides, you'll have contact, you'll have everything you need. We'll give it a try. If not, we'll send out an email. This was a quick peek at the data. If you look at the top left for the keyword VoIP. First pass. I didn't do this. We work with a company that the gentleman from Bonetta would be more than happy to tell you about it. If you want to talk to him afterwards, if he has time. The largest order, $12.3 million to one company in March 2014. Not bad. I'll just let you read that. The second largest is 4.7. Is that worth getting into? Everybody? Is that worth taking the time to learn about how to penetrate the government? That's just 2 orders on VoIP. That's not counting what was hidden behind something else when they bought a server, and while you're at it, let's make it a VoIP server. Then there's continued managed services. Searching for the word PBX. 3.8, 2.6. Look at the number of transactions on the top line. It's continuous. It's what we like to look at as the shopping in Walmart versus needless markup. You're going to get a lot more transactions at Walmart than you will at Macy's or Neiman Marcus or any of the other. 518 transactions. Looks like a kind of empty slide, huh? The next slide has so much stuff on it, I couldn't get it on this one. The word phone. 7,269 transactions last year. What were those transactions based on? This is a mess. But when you see how much information there to try to get it on one slide instead of 10, everybody should know what a NAICS code is. Remember the old SIC code, Standard Industry Classification Code? It's now called a NAICS code. It's a 5-digit, 6-digit number that defines exactly what you do and where you are. For example, computer in office might be, 45144. Is anybody here registered with the government in what's called SAM or the old CCR? You should be if you're trying to do government business. You have to update your NAICS codes. When you are looking at a particular procurement you're going after, it says, must be this NAICS code. Go back to your SAM and add it. Takes 24 hours of updates, you now qualify for that procurement. Look at the number of transactions under each of those. Satellite, telecom, other computer related. Well, where does that say VoIP or PBX or Asterisk or anything? It doesn't, it's hidden. The government buyer hides them. Wireless telecommunications. Where does that say VoIP? These were all pulled by a deep analyst. I haven't even looked at the data. I could have done it. I asked her to do it. Took 10 minutes and was back. But look at the number of transactions. How can anybody ignore that type of money? If each one was $100, take the first one at 14, that's a few $1,000s right there. All day long. What is an open market? Now we're in the government. We've decided if we want to go after the government, we've done our government registrations, the government knows that we exist, and that's where 99% of the people stop. They sit back and they say, well, I'm registered with SAM, but I'm not getting any business. Okay, try this one. I'm registered to vote, but my guy didn't win. Or, I have a driver's license, but I can't get to the doctor. You have to operate it. You have a voter registration, you have a driver's license, you have a fishing license. Fishing license is the easiest way, analogy we're going to give you right here. So, from this aspect, a bid. We get them in the commercial world. We're all doing bidding in the commercial world, I'm sure. Give me your bid, give me your quote. They disguise it under a number of different names. Welcome to Acronymville, the CSC. A bid, that's not an acronym, that's the real deal. RFQ, request for quote. You don't see much IFB anymore, invitation for bid. I would like you to bid on this project, and we're not going to guarantee you win, but we'd like to have the bid. Why are you inviting me? I already have it. Then there's request for information. Request for information probably should be at the top, because what happens is, a lot of times when the government is looking to, and by the way, GSA has gone hog wild on VoIP. All of their people are working at home or telework centers, and they're all working VoIP. Not all of them, the scheduled division. The GSA itself is continuing to expand. Request for information is usually kind of a trace around over the bow to see who's paying attention. We're thinking about implementing a switch box or a Astra server. We're kind of interested in what the information you have and what information you have and what information you have about this. How many of you are doing subcontracting with a prime, like a CSC, SAIC, or something like that? Don't do it. If you plan on going into the government direct, try not to do subcontracting. The reason is, you're going to have to discount your pricing to that prime, and when you finally decide to go on your own for your own contract, that discounted pricing becomes your pricing, which that's profit out the window. If you're not happy with the profit, you're not going to do a good job. True or true? Question. Great slide. What do you get? We just did an RFP, request for proposal. We submitted it, we negotiated it, we won it. What do we get? Contract. Great, I got a contract. Assuming within the first 10 days that my fine friend here from the UK doesn't protest it because he thinks that he was aggrieved or wrong. If you've ever won an open market procurement, and find out, even in the, I don't know if it happens that much in commercial, but in government, open market bids and procurements get protested all the time. Ties it up for 90 days while they decide who shot JR. So, yeah, I got a contract, but I may not be able to do anything for 90 days. But if I had a GSA contract, I wouldn't be doing the first one, the bidding. And I have a slide that will tell you all about GSA contracts. What we're looking for here today is the same reason that we are concentrating on internet-based voice data unified communications. Speed of deployment. What's the fastest way for you to start generating government business? That's it right there. No bidding. Now, don't confuse bidding with quoting. If you are on the outside looking in and you're giving me a price, I could be asking for budgetary before I put out my commercial procurement, or I could be asking you for a formal quote, which is when I sign it, we call it estimate, quote, when I sign it, it becomes an order. You don't have that problem with GSA. You already have a contract. There's no protest. If you've got a contract and David doesn't, and I want to give an order, I give you the order because you have a contract, valid contract, everything's on the contract. There's not a thing he can do about it. You have a valid contract. You don't have to bid. Now, I may ask you for a budgetary quote. I'm putting together, I have $500,000 left in my budget. September's coming. I got to spend it by September 30th. You give me a quote for $540,000. I've only got $500 in my budget. I can't go over. I can't bounce checks like Congress does. What do? What would you do? I got $500 budget. I'm the government. You know it's good money. But your quote's $540,000. I've only got $500. What do? 5 seconds.
Discount it or reduce it.
But wait a minute, you just violated your pricing on your contract because you gave lower price to somebody else. I know you know the answer. Spot reduction is allowed on a government contract without affecting anybody else. If you're a government buyer and I gave you a better deal, and he's a buyer, she's a buyer, whatever, and you give everybody a different deal as long as it's the same customer, as long as it's government. Spot reductions are legal. You've done bids, you've lost. You all do. If you win 1 out of 10, you're doing great. You're a superstar. What do you do with all the information from those bid packages you got from Fed Biz Ops?
Keep them on file, hopefully reference them in the future and reuse them.
Come on. Use them for what? Last line.
Keep them updated.
You contact the buyer and inform them that you now have a GSA contract. That's your next customer. Free. They came to you. If Fed Biz Ops sent you the opportunity, you have a cover sheet. Name, address, city, state, zip, phone, fax, and everything they buy, what they buy, what they bought. You can research them right online. Dear Susie Cream Cheese, we now have a GSA contract. What have you got upcoming? Guess what starts coming to peak? Orders. This is how you eliminate bidding. Don't confuse bidding with quoting. The difference between bidding is that it's a competitive. In quoting, a lot of times, give me a quote, give me a quote, give me a quote. As a government buyer, I'm required to see 3 GSA contracts to compare for not the cheapest price, what's called best value. You're $100, but you can hand deliver it today. You're $50 and it takes me a month to get it. Who's got better value? Depends which way you're looking at it. If you're putting out the money and you can afford to wait a month, you're better value. Don't we live in an Amazon Prime world right now? I need it tomorrow for $4.99. What is a GSA contract? Those of us who have done bidding on a request for proposal, GSA contract starts out exactly the same way, both parallel. The only difference is the regular open market procurement is winner take all. On the GSA side, it's a multiple award, which means Dell, HP, I'm taking you back in time, Compaq, Gateway, Toshiba, every one of those has a contract. It's a multiple award. You, the buyer, decide which fits your needs, what fits your mission. Example, the IRS right now for their field auditors uses Toshiba laptops. A number of years ago, they decided they were going to buy 15,000 more laptops. Someone said, well, we need to go out and put it out on bid. No, we want to stay with Toshiba because our IT department on the table, all they do is push a button, it goes bang, 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 they're all deployed. Which is better value? Toshiba was a little bit more expensive at the time. The important thing is, there's no order limitation. You can do price reductions. Anything you want to do. Whatever you and the agency agree upon is the golden rule in government procurement. Doesn't matter what the contract says. If you and the agency agree in writing that you want to do it one way, you can do it. It's also the easiest way to go through the government. Why do you need a contract? When you're not doing the bidding, you're probably limiting yourself on line 3, $3,000 or less. That's called the micro purchase threshold. And I actually have friends in the DC area who have made a substantial living doing $3,000 orders. The problem is, because of all the heat that GSA and a lot of the government agencies have been under the past few years, the internal inspector general auditor comes around and audits every one of you buyers and says, let me see your micro purchase order. Let's sort them by company name. And all of a sudden, your company comes up 42 times for $3,000 orders. You're cut. You're not in trouble. If I'm the buyer, I'm in deep you know what. So that's the problem. The SICA, you'll hear it called Competition and Contracting Act of the year the world was supposed to end the very first time, in 1984. There's also the Prompt Payment Act of 1984. We can talk about that afterwards if you like. Competition and Contracting Act prohibits government buyers, pretend I'm the buyer, from fragmenting my requirements to give you multiple $3,000 orders. Now, I can give everybody in this room a $3,000 order. It'd be great if you're all related. That way it all goes back into the same company. But it's kind of weird to see all the same product going out to 52 different vendors. Most people get caught. And again, the vendor, that would be us, you, doesn't really get in and you're doing your job, you're selling. It's the buyer saying, I'll find a way to get it through the system. It's almost like what they call a sole source justification. Remember we were talking earlier about the 90-day protest or stop work, 10 days to protest, 90 days stop work. Number 4, this is an order. If you have a contract, I call up and say, is your contract valid? Yes. Can you send me a copy? I just did. Or they go on GSA Advantage. It's there. List of all your products. I need to place an order. What do you need? I don't know. Can we I put you with my program manager and you guys figure out the configuration that we need. It happens all the time. That's how close you can get with your buyer. How many of us in the commercial world really get to schmooze with no pun intended, get to schmooze with our buyers? Very seldom. Now, I'm going to just fly through this. You notice the source? I stole it right from their site. I'm sorry, I borrowed it from their site. So I'm going to go through that because I'm sure we're running low on time, and I want to get to questions and answers. So anybody, by the way, if anybody has a question, raise your hand and interrupt me. I don't care. Because I probably have covered it or will cover it. And what I love is when somebody asks a question, I push the button and the next slide is exactly what they were asking the question about and they didn't know that. So. Any service disabled vets in here? Any vets? 8A, woman-owned. Those are all socioeconomic categories. And then we have what's called small business set-aside. By the way, all these slides, you'll have every one of them. You notice it just goes on and on and on why the government likes using GSA contract. Anybody have a problem doing $25,000 a year to the government if you had to keep your contract? First 2 years. And every year after that, $25,000. Not bad. Make sure you keep your sales going. Where do you start? What's the correct answer? And one person in this room was excluded from answering. Because when I met him, he wasn't quite 2 years. I gave away the answer. Maybe. Depends on the contracting officer. We found that out the hard way. How do you legally comply? Let's say you've only been in business a year and a half. Anybody here been in business under 2 years? Not an issue. Under 5 years. So we've got veterans here. Good. We get people all the time. I had a guy come in, been in business, not been in business, he was incorporated for 8 months. We submitted his, he said, well, I've been doing this 24 years, and he was older than me, and I'm older. His accountant and attorney told him to incorporate. 8 months. GSA rejected him. I said, why? I said, well, we need 2 years of financial stability to before we enter into a contract. I said, yeah, the guy's been doing this 24 years. Write it up, sign it, stamp it, send it in, awarded. If you know how to play the system, understanding, like we all do in business, understand what the other side hopes to gain out of sitting in front of you. Once you understand where they're coming from, what they're trying to do, and why, now I know how to help them achieve their goal. Once you do that, everybody wins. And then suddenly pricing doesn't become an issue. Is all this worth your time? You don't know because you haven't been down that road. I know one person that knows it's worth his time now. Those folks that submit on their own, I don't care what it is. Anybody that does their own taxes, which I'm here to tell you I will never do again. 15, 20 years ago, I said, yeah, I can do that thing. Well, I don't like that. Let me try it. Yes, that one's good. Oh, let me see. I put in 10,000. I'm giving back 20. That looks good. Send it. Audit. While we're here, Mr. Price, why don't we go back 2 years previous just to see if you have a larceny pattern? I'll never do my taxes again. We're done. I don't even know what time it is. Doesn't matter. The important thing is, 2 slides. Those of you who have a QR reader on your phone, you'll be, if not, you can come up and scan it because we are done. There's contact information. Anybody want to come up and scan it? Knock it out.
I'd just like to point out that in common with some of our other speakers, Michael is available for weddings and bar mitzvahs.
And I do preach and lead singing revival.
But you must have some questions. This is a guy with lots of inside knowledge. What questions have you got for him here?
Anybody, anything. You don't even need the mic. Just kind of raise your little finger and ask it. You want the slides? There they are. Ray Charles can see that.
Now, Michael, did you not say that you've got a real-life testimonial in this room?